Welcome back to Church Production. I'm Marcel Patillo. When looking for high quality cameras for your church, when going through the specs, I think there's one thing that we all get back to at the end, which is it gonna be easy? And I say easy because at a church, most of us work in small teams that need to be very efficient, and we heavily rely on volunteers. Is it gonna be easy to set up? Is it gonna be easy to place in the room? And is it gonna be easy to operate without a large team of people? Well, we've been working with First Baptist Rogers in Rogers, Arkansas, in partnership with Canon to get a look at the CR-N500 and CR-N700 PTZ cameras. But before we get started, give this video a like and subscribe to the Church Production YouTube channel.
I'm Jeff Hartley. I'm the video production specialist at First Baptist Rogers in Rogers, Arkansas. The room we're in right now, 10 years ago when it was built, it was supposed to be temporary. 10 years go by and you're like, oh wow, we've outgrown this room on a capacity level and on a technical level. So right now we're kind of limited on flexibility of lighting, and that limits the flexibility of our camera systems, and the room was not made to be a worship space. It was made to be classrooms, and so there's not hardly any conduit paths to the stage. And so if we want to build something or expand on something, it's just very, very tedious.
The PTZ world has come a long way, and with Canon's already amazing image quality, color science, and autofocus, it just gets me excited to see what they're doing with PTZs.
The CR-N500 is a IP-based 4K high-quality PTZ camera. This camera, it's not PTZ cameras like you've known them before. Canon's really stepped up their game on the image quality. I mean, it's got a gigantic 1-inch sensor, which, I mean, it's bigger than the sensors on broadcast quality cameras. And so it does fantastic in lower light, which is great because that adds so much flexibility. You can put it almost anywhere in the room and guarantee you're going to get a high quality image. And it's just a really flexible system, especially the way they've incorporated it. They've basically enabled their camera to be completely powered over Ethernet.
There's just something about Canon cameras. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Their image quality and color science is almost unmatched. We have a Canon 5D Mark IV at my church, and when we don't have a photographer around to take stills, I'll just hand that camera to someone and say, hey, can you take some shots of what's going on right now? Because it's genuinely hard to take a bad photo with that camera, even if you don't know what you're doing. But that is the legendary 5D Mark IV. What about the PTZs?
Probably my biggest gripe with all other PTZ cameras is I can't dial in the color. They just don't look good. These cameras are fantastic. The skin tones, it's real. It looks like real life color. And that's something that you can't fake. And so that was probably my favorite part of these cameras, is just how stellar the color science and the image quality was. So the autofocus on the 500 and 700 were really, really great, actually. They were really pinpoint accurate. There were very few times that I can think of that it missed the autofocus. Behind our singers are, 30 other faces behind them in frame. And so, I don't know, I think the fact that I'd say 99% of the time it caught the correct face, the subject, was pretty impressive to me.
Paired with the CR-N500 and 700, James has been using the RC-IP100 controller, which can control up to 100 of these cameras, which my first thought is why, but my second thought is why not?
We also got a chance to try out the RC-IP100 controller to control the cameras with, and after using a lot of different controllers for PTZ cameras, I can tell you that this one is different. It's got a full zoom rocker, which is amazing. You're not trying to control it with just the knob or anything like that. It's got touchscreen capabilities. It's smooth and it's robust. It's just a good piece of equipment, and you don't feel like you're just controlling it with a little piece of plastic. One thing I really liked was the trace functionality. You could basically record a move and then recall that move and then have it play it back just as you recorded it. It's really, really useful to be able to just recall different moves, especially if you're doing multiple services, during this song, this move going, a big pan of the stage or whatever is going to be really useful. And so it's just a really great tool in that controller.
So lastly, I had to ask James about kind of the complications with setup, or if there was complications, because with setup could really determine if your church and the size of your team could handle something like this. And also, of course, what size and type of church do you see these cameras being perfect for?
The ease of setup was actually quite surprising because when I heard, oh, it's an IP-based system, I'm like, oh, great, I'm going to need to call my IT guy, I'm going to need to get this, but I'm far from a genius on IP-based stuff, and I was able to do it pretty much no problem. As long as you have an Ethernet cable and a signal cable, you can make these things work. No matter the size of your church, I really don't think that anyone's going to regret buying these cameras. They're just overall stellar pieces of equipment.
So of course, with the name Canon, you're gonna think high quality, but I think today we found something that is truly easy. So a big thank you to Canon as well as First Baptist Rogers for giving these a shot, implementing them into your system, and giving us your insight and knowledge about your experience with the CR-N500 and CR-N700. So make sure to give this video a like, subscribe to the Church Production YouTube channel, as well as check out churchproduction.com for new articles and insights on everything church production. As always, I'm Marcel Patillo, and I'll see you all in the next one.